What's up, guys? How's it going? It's Nick here, firing another vintage cube. Pack 1, pick 1. I'm looking at Fintorn Elves. Obviously, there's no power in this pack. There's a Lightning Bolt, Metamorph, Animate Dead. Wheel of Fortune's kind of neat. It's also an Emrakul. I could try to go Emrakul and go like Show and Tell. I'm going to do the unconventional thing here, I think, and take Lightning Bolt. I like this card very much. Here there's a Goblin Rabblemaster. Just going to take this. Passing a Karakas, Muldrifter. Just going to stay in red for now. Okay. I do really like Kolaghan's Command. I think this card is very good. It's also a consideration to take Jitte. I think Jitte is better in white creature-based decks as opposed to red creature-based decks. But it's tempting to take Jitte because we're not sure if we're even going to be in black. Can we even support this? Are we gonna like pick up Dark Confidant, Bitter Blossom? I don't know. I think this one is very close. I'm gonna take... Oh man, this is close. I'm taking the Jitte. Alright, well, I could just take Lightning Strike. I'm not thrilled about this development because we haven't seen any red creatures past that point. And those are more integral to our success than things like Lightning Strike. This is just filler. This is not a very good card. It's just a worse Lightning Bolt, but it's definitely what we have to take there. This is more like it. Figure of Destiny, Abbot of Carolkeep, even a Blade Splicer. I like this card. The question becomes, which one of these cards should I take first? I'm pretty sure it's Figure of Destiny. 1-drops are so important. And I do hope to see Abbot of Carolkeep come back. That would be a wonderful sign. And here it dries up, which is not a great sign. I do think that I can take like Phyrexian Rager and not be too sad about that. I think this is the best card for us. Maybe Oblivion Ring would be okay. Perhaps it is Oblivion Ring because Figure of Destiny becomes better in a red-white deck. I do want that Kolaghan's Command back, though, and if I do wheel that, I'll be happy to have Phyrexian Rager. Yeah, I want to take the creature. Sword of Fire and Ice. Goblin Dark Dwellers. I don't think Dark Dwellers is, like, a card that gets picked highly at all. But I don't hate it. It's good with Lightning Bolt and Lightning Strike. If we have a lot of burn spells, I don't mind this card. Do I really want Sword of Fire and Ice over a Dark Dwellers? I think I do, but... No, I don't think I do. It's kind of close. Like, Sword of Fire and Ice is better if you have a lot of mana available. You don't really have that in mono red. So I'm taking Dark Dwellers. It's not a very powerful card at all, but... Gotta start somewhere here. Could take Revoker. Could take Runaway Steamkin. Revoker's nice because it will, like, shut down a mana dork, but it can't attack through it. Revoker's better in, like, a red-black or red-white deck than Runaway Steamkin. But I'm going to try to go mono-red if I can here. Fyndhorn Elves on the wheel. Oh no. That's not a very good sign, but I'm going to take the Metamorph. Wow, Elvish Mystic on the wheel. What's going on here? Oh no. Well, I'm going to take Ancient Grudge. Maybe splash green somehow. Take Monastery Mentor. Elspeth Sun's Champion. There's the Abbot of Carol Keep. That's a fine signal. Alright, well, Kolaghan's command was taken. So someone's in red-black. But you really don't see those 1-mana elves go around an entire pod like that. That was strange. But I don't think that I can pivot into a green-red deck because the acceleration only works if you have big things to ramp into. It doesn't really work in an aggressive deck. Like, elves plus burn spells isn't really a combination that is winning. So we don't open any power, which is kind of sad. I think Swords to Plowshares is a very strong card. I'd be happy to play this. Happier to play Swords to Plowshares than, let's say, Ajani Vengeant, or Char, or Izzet Signet. These cards aren't very good for this type of deck, so I'll take STP. Passing a Treachery, hoping to wheel Ajani. Some good cards in this pack. Time Twister, Control Magic. Boros Signet is interesting. It could allow us to play kind of like a big mana deck. Maybe I should have taken Burning of Jinye. I could like play Wildfire here with, let's say, like Planeswalkers. I'm not too excited to play Boros Signet, but I do believe it to be better than Young Pyromancer, if only by a little bit. I think Young Pyromancer is better in a red-blue deck where you have like littler cantrips to make this more effective, things that draw cards. Can't really do that in red-white. So I will just take the Boros Signet, hoping to wheel like Archangel Avacyn, I guess. This deck really wants like a Soul Ring, and we're not going to get it in this pack for sure. Okay. Well, I'm not too big on Soulscar Mage. It's not a horrible card, but it's not terribly exciting. I think Seasoned Hollowblade is, like, fairly good. It wields a G-Take quite well. It's another 2-drop creature that applies a lot of pressure. If I'm playing some number of planes, I don't want Koth of the Hammer. So it's really between the two creatures, in my opinion. Maybe you could take Flooded Strand, speculating on picking up, like, a Sacred Foundry. Seems like a stretch. Well, there's Sulfuric Vortex. Thank God. We needed some powerful cards in this deck to, like, give us a chance of winning. And Sulfuric Vortex is really sweet. You just get ahead a little bit, and then you win for sure. Vortex is like a flagship piece of successful red decks, and boy, I'm glad to see it. Okay, things are becoming a little bit more, looking a little bit better with a Goblin Guide and a Plateau. I think I have to take Goblin Guide. I think it's just too important. Maybe it comes back around on the wheel. I could see that as a possibility. That's really my big question here, is which of these cards is going to wheel? Or, like, is it possible? I mean, you're only ever playing Goblin Guide if you're an aggressive red deck. You're not playing this in anything mid-range. It's only if you're trying to go as fast as possible. So perhaps it's better for me to take Plateau and try to wheel Goblin Guide. You know, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to follow my read in that. Who knows, it might be a disaster, but it might be great. Okay, so this is good. Picks are becoming much harder, and we have less time to think about them as time goes on. There's a Nahiri, Ravages of War, Flame Slash, Giver of Runes, Grim Lavamancer. 5 cards that could be played in this deck. I really like Ravages of War. This card is fantastic. Like, playing Rabblemaster and then into Ravages of War, you just win the game. Obviously, I'd like Flame Slash. I don't think Grim Lavamancer's the pick. Nahiri's very good, but I don't think it's the pick either. I think it's probably just Ravages of War. So let's take that. Incinerate might be nice, given that we have to play Goblin Dark Dwellers, or let's say we have to play this. It's going to be nice to have more burn spells too. Flashback. This is a new card to the cube. Fight as one. Might actually be pretty good here. It does look pretty good, but given that I have a Runaway Steamkin, I do want a lot of red cards. So let's just take the burn spell. Ooh, Armageddon number 2. Well, I'm pretty sure I have to take Armageddon. I would play Earthshaker Kendra. This is a fine 2-drop, you know. I like this card a fair bit, but I can't say no to a second Armageddon. That would be a mistake, in my opinion. Alright, here's our Ajani Vengeant. Gonna take this and play it. Young Pyromancer comes back. That's awesome. Perhaps I'm supposed to take Archangel Avacyn, but I'm not too interested in that. Here I'll take Soulscar Mage. We have 3 burn spells now to make good use of it. We're not going to play any of these cards. And look at this. Goblin Guide comes back. Now that's a really, really big wheel. And we took a big gamble by taking Plateau over this card, because this is one of the best 1-drops in the game for us. Wow, tough decision. Nahiri or Flame Slash? I'm taking Nahiri. Taking Nahiri. Gives us a bit more oomph in the late game. And to the last pack. Wow, Ancestral Recall, huh? You don't say. I'll take Mana Crypt. Mana Crypt is awesome. Like, turn 1 Goblin Rabblemaster, turn 1 Monastery Mentor, turn 2 Ajani Vengeant. These are back-breaking plays. It's not easy to splash blue in an aggressive deck like this. We don't have any mana fixing for that, so Ancestral Recall is kind of off the table, which is sad, because it is, like, the best card in Magic. But Mana Crypt ain't bad, and Mana Crypt is really sweet when you have a fast clock. Like, we can kill our opponents really quickly. It's going to be unlikely that Mana Crypt kills us, you know? It's good with Armageddon. You know, it's going to be very solid here. I'm hoping to wheel Sacred Foundry, which is a real possibility given that Plateau is taken so late. But I'll take a Mana Crypt. That's exciting. Happy to have that. Porcelain Legionnaire is a solid 2-drop. Zealous Conscripts is also quite good. I think maybe I'll take Conscripts because Porcelain Legionnaire is bound to wheel. I don't know, that's maybe too aggressive. I think Zealous Conscripts is used in, like, mid-range to control decks. It's in Kiki-Jiki combo, so this isn't coming back. You know, if I pass Conscripts here, it's not coming back. I don't think it's possible. But, you know, maybe if I take Porcelain Legionnaire, I could wheel something else. I just don't think that's possible. This is pretty hard, but I'm going to take Porcelain Legionnaire. This is a very solid 2-drop, and I'm kind of lacking in that department. I don't think I want to play Runaway Steamkin anymore. Mana Crypt casts Porcelain Legionnaire straight up, so that's good. And Conscripts maybe isn't so good in a rushdown deck. You need your opponent to play something to steal. That's my full thought process. Wow, Mox Pearl! Oh my god, 3rd pick Mox Pearl. Well, wow, we're getting hooked up in this pack. We picked up Mana Crypt and Mox Pearl? Wow. Well, that's pretty sweet. I really like Rampaging Ferocidon too. This is like a delicious 3-drop. I don't think Coercive Portal's for me. I don't really like Experimental Frenzy. Take that little dinosaur. Okay, Kytheon, Burst Lightning, Embereth Shieldbreaker. I do like Kytheon. I like 1-drops. I think we have a lot of burn already, so we don't really need Burst Lightning. It's good with Soulscar Mage. It's good with Young Pyromancer. I think Embereth Shieldbreaker is a nice, like... It's a nice hedge against the format because you're often playing against extremely powerful artifacts. So this type of effect has more value, but I'm going to take the 1-drop. I think that's more me, you know? That's my style. There's Wear Tear, there's Thalia. That's pretty much it. There's Direfleet Daredevil. Card is okay, but it's not as good as Thalia. Thalia kind of shuts us down too. I mean, look at our 4-drops. All of them are non-creature spells. We have Sulfuric Vortex, you know, Jite, Signets, a lot of burn spells. It kind of sets us back just as much. I think it's fine though. Even though it's kind of symmetrical, we have a lot of creatures, and Thalia's very good in aggressive decks, so hoping it turns out okay for us. So in this instance, I'm pretty sure I'm taking Banishing Light. I don't want another 4-drop no matter what. I don't think I'd play 5 of them in a deck like this. Banishing Light is flexible. It gets rid of Planeswalkers. If anything, it's a sideboard option. Okay, Inspiring Vantage. Easy Inspiring Vantage, but Oust. Oust is very good. This is a new addition to Vintage Cube. This was not here in the previous iteration. I just have to take Inspiring Vantage, though. It would be so greedy to not take this. There's the Sacred Foundry. Wow, we're really doing it here. Passing a Firebolt. That's fine. Oh my gosh, okay, Zealous Conscripts. I think this is a 5-drop that I will end up playing main deck. And if anything, I can just put it in the sideboard. It's just so strong, you know? It's really strong. Goblin Welder. This card is so nostalgic for me. Playing against Welder Mud. TNT was like a survival of the fittest deck that had Goblin Welder. I remember Nick Sennett casted Goblin Welder through Chalice on 1 against me, and I didn't catch it until later on. When the card shop I used to play in, like, people used to cheat me all the time. You had to really be on your toes playing, like, live Magic tournaments back in those days, because people were relentless. Like, the guy has a Chalice for 1 in play, and he casts a Goblin Welder through it. And he knows, like, I have a Chalice on 1. He knows that, but he still plays a Goblin Welder through it, and I didn't catch it, you know? Meanwhile, I'm, like, not casting all my 1-drops. It's just the things you remember from back in the day. I'll take Burst Lightning. That's actually like a main deckable card. We'll take Wear Tear. Wow, Wear Tear's good. It's close though. Like Daredevil's a consideration. Okay, let's put some things in the sideboard. Oh, oops. I wanted to put those things in the sideboard before we got to this phase because now they're all within this card pool, right? Like we have 45 cards in the main deck, nothing in the sideboard. So we're gonna have to remember which cards are bad here. Fight is 1, not very good. Eidolon of Obstruction, not our best 2-drop. I like Abbot of Carol Keep, but Ancient Grudge is in the sideboard. Let's put the Incinerates up there for now. Pyretic Ritual is not playable. It's possible we don't even want Boros Signet anymore. Could be we don't even want Jite, but we'll get to that. Wear Tear for the sideboard now. Rager, Wingmare, Monastery Mentor, Banishing Light. Okay, to the 4 drops. Metamorph is more of a 3 drop. We're never paying 4 for this, so we'll put it in the 3 drop slot. Faith's Fetters goes away. We don't need the life gain. We're going to be, pretty aggressive here. Elspeth Conquers Death. I don't think we need that main deck. Elspeth Sun's Champion costs 6, so that's too much. Dark Dwellers is not the best card. We'll put that over there. How many cards is this? 29 with 3 lands. So if we cut the lands, that's 26. So this would leave room for 14 lands. But we don't want Goblin Welder. We might not want Soulscar Mage. I think that Kythian, Goblin Guide, and Figure of Destiny are all a bit better than Soulscar Mage. Could be that we don't want Burst Lightning. I think Runaway Steamkin loses a lot of its steam if you're playing some white cards. So let's take the Steamkin out. It's possible that I wanted to take Direfleet Daredevil there with the last pick over Wear Tear, because we're a little bit short on 2 drops. I didn't realize that. Well, a little bit short is a stretch. We have 5 of them. But I usually prefer to have 6. 22 cards, this would be 18 lands, but we already have 2 artifact mana sources, so this is really only 20 cards. I think we could get away with running 16 lands, but I think 17 is fine. Well, let's say 16 lands with a Mox and a Mana Crypt. So if we were to play 16 lands plus that, how many cards do we have to add in? 2 more? I think Monastery Mentor is pretty good. It's going to rate to be pretty good, given that all of our 4 drops are non-creature spells. If we play this on curve, like, the next turn we're probably going to make a monk. I do like Banishing Light. It's a solid removal option for some of the bigger threats in the format. Things like Planeswalkers that we can't deal with through things like counterspells. The question is, do I want Banishing Light or do I want something like Burst Lightning? I think Burst Lightning would be better if I were playing Soulscar Mage in the main deck. But given that I've cut the Incinerate and the Lightning Strike, I'm not sure that that's something I want to do. Burst Lightning and Soulscar Mage would be a much better package against the green decks who are playing 1-mana Accelerants. But against other decks, I don't like that as much. It's also a question of whether or not I want Jitte. I think Jitte would be better in a deck with Boros Signet because it would help us get to 4 mana. You could like play a 1-drop, turn 2 play a Signet, turn 4, or turn 3 rather, play a Jitte and equip it. Jitte is really more of a 4-drop anyway. That does make the mana curve look a lot cleaner. 7-5-5-5-1. I think I will play Boros Signet in this deck. We do have a fairly big top end. We have a lot of 3-drops. We have a 5. Boros Signet's very good with Armageddon and Ravages of War, right? Why would I cut this card? Let's trim the Soulscar Mage. This is 23. Okay, that's awesome. Could just play Wear Tear. That'd be okay. Could just play like an Incinerate, but I'm not a huge fan of Incinerate. It's a fine piece, you know, it helps like finish the game sometimes. Well, let's see. If we put the artifact mana back in, that would be 15 lands plus this. That's probably fine. Let's do it. Let's just run it just like that. All right. So now we have to figure out our distribution from red and white. I think it's fairly split, especially at the top. We do have a white 1-drop plus Swords to Plowshares, but we also have Mox Pearl and like a lot of fixing, 3 dual lands. So that's like 4 free white sources. I'm looking mostly at Sulfuric Vortex. We want to be able to cast this, so we almost like we never want to see a time where we don't have 2 red sources. So playing too many planes is a no-no. But that being said, we have a lot of white cards, and there's going to be times where we're going to want to cast 2 white cards in 1 turn, so we will need 2 planes to be fully functional. Let's see what it recommends. 6-5. I think that's incorrect. I want 7-4. I think that's just a bit better because I'm getting a free white source out of Mox Pearl. I'm not sure that it recognizes this and takes note of it. Who knows, but this configuration I have 8 white sources. That's not enough. Why is it only adding 11 lands? That's weird. Oh, I see. Because I have some lands here. That makes sense. 15 lanes is kind of greedy. That's actually quite greedy. Like, I could just cut Jitte and add a land, and the deck becomes much better, in my opinion. Yeah, I think Jitte is kind of... It's win more, I think, in this instance. I think I'm better served to just, like, add a planes in that spot. Well, let's not... Okay, let's not be so quick to rush to that judgment, because we do have a lot of mana sources in this deck. Like, Boros Signet isn't a threat. We don't really have card draw to, like, get multiple high-costed pieces, and we're going to have to trim lands in order to ensure that we're, like, threat dense enough to not run out of gas. I think Jitte is a pretty solid cut, though. I mean, it's close. It's close either way. I just got a little nervous seeing only 15 lands with, like, all of this top end. I think it's probably fine. Jitte is very good with Mana Crypt, by the way. I mean, Mana Crypt looks, like, pretty decent in this deck. Like, rushing out a Ferocidon or a Rabblemaster or playing a quick Planeswalker. These are great plays. Porcelain Legionnaire. Yes, it doesn't work well with Goblin Guide, things like that. And perhaps I should lean more into Mana Crypt and play things like Elspeth Sun's Champion or Elspeth Conquers Death. It's tough to say if I should go for more of like a big mana style deck. But at the same time, the slower you make your deck, the more liable Mana Crypt is to kill you. So I think this looks like a fine little brew. Red-white aggro style deck. It's got some mid-game to it. Like, this isn't like a mono-red deck where you have to win fast. Double Armageddon. I'm excited to play this thing. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully it was fun for you to watch me draft it. If you want to catch more draft videos, feel free to like the video, subscribe. I love playing Magic. I'm also a big Classic WoW player. Going to be coming out with some Naxxramas rating content. I'm actually top 10 in America at Mage DPS and AQ40, Phase 5. You know, humble flex there. But yeah, I play a lot of Classic. If you like that content, I'll probably be coming out with more of that. I appreciate you guys so much for watching the video. If you're here for whatever reason, I want to say thank you. Appreciate that very much. Hope you have a great day. Hope you all stay safe. hug your family, be well, and see you guys next time.